Welcome to a special edition of GNV On The Move. In this episode, we'll take a look at the recent 2025 State of the City address. Gainesville Mayor Harvey Ward and fellow city commissioners highlighted the progress of the city's programs and initiatives.
Hello, Gainesville. My name is Danny Rubin, and Gainesville is my hometown. Back in the day when I was a student at Gainesville High School, I wrote a weekly satire column for the newspaper. I can't say I was exactly in love with writing. At the time, I just thought it would help get me into college, which it did. But ultimately, it did set me on a professional path as a writer, which included writing the screenplay for the film Groundhog Day. One terrific benefit to having written that movie is I get to hear people from all over the world tell me what I meant when I wrote it. The fact is, when somebody tells me what they think it's about, that tells me more about them than it does about me. And what Mayor Ward tells me Groundhog Day is about tells me some wonderful things about him. He seems to think, for instance, that the movie's story is a lesson about getting outside of yourself and trying to listen and learn and help with the needs of others. He thinks you can actually get past the repeated doom loops of public policy just by paying attention, recognizing repeating patterns that don't work and thinking past them and becoming better. So it is with a great amount of pride and gratitude that I welcome to the stage Gainesville Mayor Harvey Ward.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here at the Cade Museum with us today. And another big hand for the Richard E. Parker Eastside Alumni Band. Most of y'all know that I like to think of Gainesville as the cultural capital of Florida. Danny Rubin is one of the pop culture icons who comes from Gainesville. In fact, as you just heard, he graduated from Gainesville High School before going on to write the screenplay for what I think is a true film classic, the 1993 movie Groundhog Day. It is the essential story of doing things over and over and over and over until you get them right. Something policymakers are all familiar with. We'll get into that a bit more in a moment. Thank you to the Cade Museum so much for being our host. This is a terrific space, and I want to give the Cade Museum a big hand for having us today. As we go through all this, I will be calling out a number of folks, many of you here in the audience. So if you hear your name, please stand so you can be recognized so folks can give you some love back, because you've all done so very much to make our city the growing success that it is. It's important to first recognize my fellow commissioners. You all know there's some illnesses running through town, so there are a couple folks who are unable to be here, but I want to recognize everybody. First, Mayor Pro Tem, District 4 Commissioner Brian Eastman. At-large Commissioner Cynthia Moore Chestnut. At-large Commissioner James Engel. District 1 Commissioner Desmond Duncan Walker. District 2 Commissioner Ed Book. And District 3 Commissioner Casey Willits. I will tell you, this is a great group of commissioners to work with. I've worked with lots of different iterations as a commissioner and as mayor. This is a tremendous group, and we should all be grateful as a community for having these folks. So one more round for the Gainesville City Commission, please. As commissioners, we rely on our charter officers. These are the key figures who work hard and provide expert guidance to keep our city running smoothly. So please join me in recognizing City Manager Cynthia Williams Curry, City Attorney Dan Nee, City Clerk Kristen Bryant, Director of Equity and Inclusion Zariah Folston, and City Auditor Stephen Mary. And once again, a special thank you to the members of the Richard E. Parker Alumni Band from the Eastside High School for playing us into this event. That band, with its dedication, diversity, history, and heart, represents much of what is best in the city of Gainesville. The band also represents what I want to talk about today. They learn a piece of music and play it again and again and again until it's perfect. As alumni and artists, they capture us by creating a moment that's both past and present. And it's almost like time stands still, particularly if you're from the 80s like I am. This is where Groundhog Day comes in. For those few who may not have seen it, it's a film about a TV weatherman, a grumpy TV weatherman, who's caught in, as Danny said, a doom loop. He wakes up and every day is Groundhog Day, until he learns to live with purpose. He develops new skills and confronts his flaws. He looks outward and improves the lives of others. The movie ends when he gets all of that right. He wakes up and suddenly it's tomorrow. That has meaning for us here in the city of Gainesville. Like many communities, we have at times found ourselves stuck in old routines, repeating patterns, going through motions, and not quite seeing the path forward. Fortunately, that's the setup for some mighty progress. Just like the plot of the movie, we have to learn from our mistakes. We learn to look for ways to make the world around us better. And we've come to recognize the everyday occurrences that are so easy to overlook are actually both the mission and the reward. So where does that bring us to the state of the city? In honor of Groundhog Day itself, coming up this Sunday, the movie, cranky weatherman Phil Connors, and the cultural contributions of Danny Rubin and all our creative Gainesvillagers, today I want to look at our city through the lens of Groundhog Day. It brings us three big lessons. Lesson number one, recognize what is truly important. It's not power, wealth, or status. Reduce life to its essence, and what's most important is being aware of the world around you and caring for others. That's the oldest lesson from the world's oldest book. For the city of Gainesville, I consider this the changing lives category. And we start with an acknowledgement of the incredible progress we've made in reducing gun violence. Absolutely. Y'all don't need to ever be shy about clapping. That'll be all right. Yeah. Since last May, more than 8 months ago, there has not been a single gun-related homicide reported in the city of Gainesville. Not one. This is the result of intense and intentional collaboration with our community partners, including Alachua County and the Alachua County Commission, Santa Fe College, the University of Florida, the Children's Trust, the sheriff, and many, many neighbors. I want to recognize Santa Fe College President, Dr. Paul Brody, who is here, I believe. There. For his commitment to working with the City of Gainesville and Alachua County to form the Community Gun Violence Prevention Alliance. I also want to recognize the Alachua County Board of County Commissioners who are here with us. Several members are here. Thank you. I see Commissioner Cornell, Commissioner Prizia, and I apologize if there are others that I don't see here. As Gainesville Police Chief Nelson Moya has said, this work is a collaboration. It requires all hands on deck, lots of hands. Successful recruitment is a big part of that. And GPD is committed to providing mentorship, training, and support. Last year, the starting annual salary for an officer at GPD rose nearly 20% to $60,000 a year. Morale is climbing. Sure, go ahead. Yeah, bring it. Morale is climbing and hiring is increasing year over year. At GPD's side are the women and men of Gainesville Fire Rescue. We are proud of GFR, which in February 2024 was granted accredited agency status from the Commission on Fire Accreditation International, That's the third time the city has received this prestigious recognition, and it's only given to those who provide the best possible service in our communities. Over the past year, GFR took on the responsibility of leading Impact GNV, the city's new gun violence prevention initiative, while GPD pushed forward with its gun violence prevention unit, a full-time unit that works with partner agencies to cross jurisdictional lines and share resources. City Manager Cynthia W. Curry has planned and implemented these operational components and others following the policy directions set by the City Commission. Join me in championing these efforts as District 1 Commissioner Desmond Duncan Walker.
In 2024, we launched Impact GNV to reduce gun violence in our community. The initiative pulls together a number of programs under a unified banner. It also moves quickly to put boots on the ground, working with neighborhoods, schools, nonprofits, faith-based organizations, grassroots advocates, and formerly justice-involved individuals, among other partners. We then worked alongside our colleagues at Alachua County, Santa Fe College, and other partners to establish the Community Gun Violence Prevention Alliance. This is where we are building momentum and engaging in strategic planning. The Alliance is focused on three broad objectives: to cooperate and strengthen efforts to address gun violence, to improve outcomes for survivors and those at risk, and to spearhead a collaborative group of community stakeholders, including the Youth Steering Committee, which centers and pulls in the young people of our community. We have formed partnerships like the one with the BOLD program, which is hosting regular engagement opportunities at the A. Quinn Jones Center to reach students most at risk of gun violence. This year, they'll continue working to develop similar partnerships with other area schools. 2024 was also the final year of the One Nation, One Project GNV, our part in the 2-year national campaign to improve youth health and wellness through the arts. Gainesville Fire Rescue collaborated with Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs to lead this initiative, with the goal of reducing the incidences of youth gun violence in Gainesville. One Nation, One Project ultimately funded 29 programs and an additional 85 artists, organizations, and partners. The project connected with 3,605 youth participants, with post-project data analysis showing those young people are reporting a statistically significant uptick in positive feelings of well-being.
Thank you, Commissioner Duncan Walker, for propelling this conversation forward. And thank you also for prioritizing arts for young people across the city. I want to take this moment to thank Artistic Director Marion Caffey, who I don't think he's able to join us from New York today, but a big hand for Marion Caffey, please. Mr. Caffey received a key to the city right out here on stage last July. He's a Gainesville native and longtime producer of Amateur Night at the Apollo at the Historic Theater in Harlem, New York, that was just given a Kennedy Center honor to mark its impact on the past, present, and future of American culture and the performing arts. Mr. Caffey is a big part of the Apollo, and we were incredibly fortunate that he brought his artistic vision and outside-the-box thinking back home to make a difference for young people in our community. Our community health arm in the City of Gainesville continues the work started at the 2023 Gun Violence Prevention Summit, partnering with those who are in a position to help. I want to recognize Bishop Christopher Stokes of the Willie Mae Stokes Community Center, who's here with us. There we are. And Jeffrey Weisberg of the River Phoenix Center for Peace Building. I'm not sure he's with us. I also want to recognize Reverend Carl Anderson and People Against Violence Enterprises for a quarter century of doing this work. We're not finished, however, without recognizing the young people themselves. The Youth Steering Committee has been integral to the work of the One Nation, One Project. These are the leaders of tomorrow, and that's a mistake. They're the leaders of today, of right now. They were the first brought together to address youth gun violence and other critical issues. I've met personally with these young people several times, taking them to dinner, getting to know their thoughts and their interests. The committee now serves as a continuing platform for meaningful dialogue and problem solving around key youth concerns. If y'all would stand up, let everybody see you here. One of those concerns, equally shared by parents, is how to best keep our young people safe on city roads. In 2024, the City of Gainesville was awarded an $800,000 Safe Streets for All federal grant to help assess where better lighting can improve safety. And when we say improve safety, what we mean is save lives. How can better lighting save lives when people are out walking or cycling or driving at night? Our Vision Zero initiative is aimed at altogether eliminating traffic deaths and serious injuries by 2040. On the front line of that effort stands our first responders. I want to thank police officers, firefighters, and EMTs, and paramedics, and all the partner agencies who support and protect all of us on our roads and sidewalks, in our neighborhoods, our businesses, and our homes. And I want to make sure you understand that includes everybody at Public Works, all the planners, everybody who brings this whole vision together. In 2024, our Transportation Department completed the city's Vision Zero plan, and we're moving forward with safety projects for University Avenue and Northwest and Southwest 13th Street. We also have the Bike and Pedestrian Master Plan. Public Works finished the Vision Zero project designs for Waldo Road at Northeast 3rd Avenue, the Southeast 18th Street sidewalk, and the Southeast 4th Place sidewalk. Public Works had a big role in another life-changing improvement for Gainesville as they prepared the site for the UF Health East Side Urgent Care Center, which opened last summer. There also will be an East Side Transit Hub at this location for RTS. Our Public Works crews are still completing the $3.8 million infrastructure project that includes streets, sidewalks, stormwater facilities, utility infrastructure, street lighting, and landscaping, all in that same area. It will support future building in what we call the East Side Health and Economic Development Initiative, or EHEDI, and will finally bring a wave of opportunity, convenience, and business to East Gainesville. You bet. As an integral part of that effort, I want to recognize Dr. David Nelson, Senior Vice President for Health Affairs at the University of Florida and President of UF Health, for the exceptional collaboration and investment in our community that made the UF Health Eastside Urgent Care Center a reality. I don't think Dr. Nelson is here with us this morning, but I would love to be able to send him some applause too. Now, all this is possible because we have a working, balanced budget that keeps our city running. I'm proud that through perseverance and resilience, we have capably responded to financial and budgetary challenges with resounding success. Our general fund adopted for fiscal year 2025 is $1.1 million lower than the year before, even while our organization continues to excel operationally. That is a remarkable fiscal achievement. Lesson number 2, discover where you can make a difference. In Groundhog Day, everything gets better when weatherman Phil Connors gradually discovers a desire to make things better for those around him. Nothing changes but his attitude and his focus. To me, this is what local government does. We're in this to improve quality of life for all our neighbors. The Gainesville Community Reinvestment Area, or GCRA, is working overtime to do just that. I want to again recognize the Alachua County Board of County Commissioners, our partner in the GCRA. The county is the largest contributor to this $7.7 million 10-year initiative that is bringing transformative projects and development to East Gainesville. The City Commission set a policy direction to make downtown Gainesville an economic development priority. We created a downtown events program, established a downtown advisory board, brought in the Downtown Ambassador program, approved plans to make the Streetery a full-time festival street, and launched the Arts, Culture, and Entertainment districts. At-large Commissioner James Engel, who was sworn in earlier this month, is already well-versed on the value and importance of downtown activity.
I am proud to serve as the newest member of the Gainesville City Commission, and I begin my term at an exciting time for downtown Gainesville. In 2024, the Downtown Advisory Board was formed to bring together the voices of downtown business leaders as we ramp up our efforts to beautify the heart of Gainesville and to make it more welcoming to visitors and neighbors alike. Key to those efforts are two new ventures. The first is the Downtown Ambassador Program, launched in December. You may have already seen our brightly dressed ambassadors providing directions to visitors, removing graffiti, or connecting with local business owners about our new approach to hospitality and safety. I'm proud to say that of the 14 people hired for this program, 11 are local, and 9 are individuals who were previously experiencing homelessness and now have a good living wage job and a valued role in our community. The second new project is the upcoming transformation of the Streetery. Last October, the Gainesville City Commission approved a plan to renovate the stretch of Southwest 1st Avenue between Main and Southwest 2nd into a pedestrian-only street. Later this year, improvements will begin so the corridor will be able to host art festivals, farmers markets, food truck rallies, and more. We heard from our neighbors and stakeholders at a workshop last month, and we're excited about the future changes that are planned.
Thank you, Commissioner Engel. I look forward to working with Commissioner Engel as we work on economic progress downtown and across our city. There are many ways of making a difference in a community: solving transportation problems, responding to emergencies, supporting those who experience homelessness. All and more are happening in Gainesville. I want to take an important moment here to commend John DeCarmine, longtime CEO of Grace Marketplace. Stand up, John. John was with Grace since its opening in 2014, and as the city has continued to support Grace with funding, John has led efforts to provide safe shelter and life-changing outreach to individuals who find themselves without a roof over their heads. Last April, I was able to bring together friends from local nonprofits and the faith-based community downtown to join together in the complex work of coordinating homeless outreach with a focus on relieving hunger and food insecurity. As our partners in this initiative, and you all would stand up as I call your name, but let's try to hold off for just a minute until I'm done calling their names. I know that never works, but give it a shot. Patrick Dodds with Bread of the Mighty, Lori Schiffbauer of St. Francis House, Barzella Papa of the Community Foundation of North Central Florida, Nat Nandelstadt from Grace Marketplace, and Pastors Arthur Lee of Holy Trinity Church, Gerard Duncan with Prayers by Faith Ministries, Beth Snar of First United Methodist Church, Scott Stewart of First Presbyterian Church, Michael Frazier of Mount Pleasant United Methodist Church, and Kenyatta Feathers of Williams Temple Church of God in Christ, and Chipper Flanagan of City Church. Thank you all for your help in this. Along with food and safe shelter, we also prioritize transportation that's accessible to all neighbors. RTS is celebrating 50 years in service this year, and it's continuing its upward passenger trend. We're fortunate to work with the University of Florida as we work to provide our community with reliable public transit. I'm grateful to UF President Kent Fox for his civic-minded leadership and involvement as a neighbor and innovator in the city of Gainesville. Big hand for President Fox, please. We also make a difference with our Community Resource Paramedicine program. Today, it is staffed at the highest level it's ever been with a program coordinator, 4 EMTs, and 2 paramedics. This program does a great deal of outreach to help houseless neighbors, and we're stepping up those efforts in the wake of new state laws prohibiting cities and counties from allowing camping and sleeping on public property. To follow the law with compassion is our priority. In this vein, we've partnered with Meridian Healthcare to do outreach and to open the new central receiving facility for which the City of Gainesville and Alachua County each provided $500,000. We at the city also contributed an additional $496,000 through a legislative budget request to support the construction of the central receiving facility, completed after about 15 years of talk last fall. And I'm so pleased to be able to partner with them on this. We're never going to notice one big change from that, but I'll promise you that is something that will make an enormous difference in our community. When it comes to improving quality of life, we have big ideas, as big as Shaquille O'Neal. A very GNV holiday parade championed by at-large Commissioner Cynthia Moore Chestnut managed in its second year to bring Shaq to Gainesville to serve as Grand Marshal. This is one of the most famous basketball players in the world. He's a global superstar. Shaq had a special connection with Gainesville. His daughter is a UF student and a member of the Gator women's basketball team. Back in 2016, he surprised a group of neighborhood children in our community by playing street basketball. When he returned to our parade, as you probably have heard now, he reunited with some of those kids. Of course, they're older now, and he gave 3 of them cars on the spot. We weren't able to get Shaq to come back for today's event, sadly. We're thankful to Commissioner Chestnut for leading the charge and our city manager and staff for creating the parade for our entire community to enjoy. Commissioner Chestnut is deeply committed to another big project as well, one that envisions an exciting future of economic growth for East Gainesville.
2024 certainly was a year of progress for development in East Gainesville. Today, we are one step closer to realizing the dream of transformational economic development at the intersection of Northeast 8th Avenue and Waldo Road. The vision involves extensive improvement and renovation to what is already a cherished neighborhood facility with a long history of serving our entire community. The city has 34 acres there, including Citizens Field Stadium and multipurpose fields, as well as the MLK Jr. Multipurpose Center. With feedback from the public and a design study completed, we expect to see a design plan for renovations this year. Meanwhile, during the past several years, we've increased the number of affordable housing units in our community by building new homes on vacant lots previously owned by the city. After a 2-year partnership with Bright Community Trust, we donated 4 empty lots to Bright in 2024, with 6 more to come. In August, we attended a ribbon cutting for the first affordable home completed, which is located near Depot Park. The new unit was sold to an income-eligible homeowner last fall. As part of the city's community land trust, each of the 10 new homes will remain affordable in perpetuity. The land trust program is a new addition to our comprehensive housing strategy to increase the supply of affordable housing through new construction.
Thank you, Commissioner Chestnut. Thank you for bringing that focus and expertise to these transformational economic initiatives that benefit directly our residents and our neighborhoods. I want to take a moment to point out that we were not only busy with construction in 2024, but with recovery. Hurricanes Helene and Milton, but especially Helene, brought down trees and power lines more than I've seen in this community and caused significant damage. By the time your curbs and yards were cleared and everything that came down had been removed, Public Works and our contracted haulers had taken away more than 50,000 cubic yards of vegetated debris, by which we mean tree branches and trees, left behind by those storms. Now, 1 cubic yard is about the size of a standard washing machine. That means that the equivalent of more than 50,000 fully loaded washing machines were hauled away from our streets over about an 8-week period. So big hand for everybody involved in that effort, please. Of course, our parks and public spaces needed to be cleared as well. That was of particular importance as quality of life in Gainesville has always had a great deal to do with parks, programs, recreational facilities, and wild spaces and public places, all very close to the heart of District 3 Commissioner Casey Willits.
Our Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs is doing incredible work in the City of Gainesville. Over the past year, Parks and Rec introduced new countywide youth resiliency and well-being programs. They enrolled nearly 13,000 children in after-school activities. Youth athletics continued its successful teen midnight basketball and heat wave summer programs at the MLK Center. They even added a neighborhood pop-up basketball event that traveled across the city to different locations to give more kids the chance to play. The One Nation, One Project initiative to reduce youth gun violence through exposure to cultural and arts held its grand finale in July at Depot Park. It was one of more than 77 free public events and programs at Depot Park in 2024, which attracted together more than 152,000 visitors. Cultural Affairs held 26 free Friday concerts and produced the Downtown Festival and Art Show, bringing 281 vendors and an estimated 40,000 attendees to our historic downtown. Wild Spaces Public Places gave us Lincoln Yard Park. They also completed universal access improvements at Bo Diddley Plaza, Fred Cohn Park, Possum Creek Park, Bivens Arm Nature Park, Albert Ray Massey Park, and Lincoln Park. We also gave the name Abby Wambach Park to the Forest Park athletic fields. Projects funded by the infrastructure surtax, branded as streets, stations, and strong foundations, include road surfacing and bike lane improvements for Northeast 9th Street, the Southwest Public Safety Center, Fire Station Number 9, the Gainesville Fire Rescue Administration Building, the East Side Fire Station, the Public Works Hurricane Hardened Building, and the Gainesville Police Department Property and Evidence Building.
Thank you, Commissioner Willits. Your dedication to parks, wild spaces, and infrastructure continue to help us as a city to put our best foot forward. Now, as we're nearing the end of today's event, we arrive at what may be the most proactive lesson in Groundhog Day, in the city of Gainesville and in life. Lesson number 3, never give up. Interestingly, the movie, like the city government, is all about learning to see opportunities and use available resources to take big steps forward. Over the past few years here in Gainesville, we've seen a great recent example of learning from experience. Just look at the work done and undone and done again by successive city commissions to achieve meaningful housing reform. The path to get there has changed, but the goal has always remained the same: make affordable housing a reality for all our neighbors. In 2024, District 4 Commissioner Brian Eastman led the charge for more opportunities to build family homes at all income levels.
Gainesville is moving forward on housing reform. In 2024, we passed 2 major policy changes to make housing more available and affordable for all neighbors. The first is a proposal I worked very hard on. It resulted in comprehensive lot size reform that eliminates the 4 arbitrary single-family zones that we've had for decades and allows up to 12 units an acre across all of them. This will allow for more starter homes and housing types by reducing the land required to build a single-family home. It protects single-family zoning while allowing more single-family homes to be built. This change has the potential to increase housing density and make our city more walkable, more neighborly, and with home choices that are more affordable. In 2024, the City Commission also passed an inclusionary zoning requirement for builders of multifamily apartments to ensure some of those units will be more affordable. For every new apartment building that's constructed with more than 50 units, the developer has to set aside 10% of them for people making less than 80% or less than the area median income. Gainesville is also making progress with accessory dwelling units, or ADUs. These are smaller structures built alongside existing homes on larger lots. We had 23 ADUs built from 2020 through 2024, with 42 permits issued. Building has been steady and incremental, with a large percentage of ADUs owner-occupied. And now, our Department of Sustainable Development has created an in-house design plans for accessory dwelling units that we can share with neighbors. Final plans will be available to the public for use in designing their own ADUs, with the ultimate goal of reducing the costs and technical barriers that impede the creation of more housing.
Thank you, Commissioner Eastman, for your tireless commitment to moving the city of Gainesville closer to the dream of affordable housing for all. We also are learning from experience as we address climate change and resiliency, making the adaptations needed to develop into a more sustainable city. Last year, the U.S. Green Building Council selected Gainesville as one of 12 cities for the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design for Cities cohort program. We also are proud that in 2024, we secured $28 million in federal and state funding for environmental initiatives, with $26 million of that going to RTS to purchase 19 hybrid electric buses and install a solar facility in the employee parking lot to charge some of those buses. Those buses should arrive by the end of 2026. There's a long lead time on ordering new buses, y'all. Our Office of Climate Change and Resiliency held or participated in more than 70 community events this past year and completed our draft climate resiliency plan ahead of schedule. Finally, we're bringing in expert opinions and learning from experience to enact transformative financial growth for all sectors of our community. Last May, I joined the city manager and key staff in an information gathering visit to Miami-Dade. We were joined by Greater Gainesville Chamber of Commerce President Eric Godet who I would like to recognize for his service as a key leader of our business community. I don't think he was able to join us this morning, but a big hand for Eric as well, please. As a result of that journey and subsequent actions and research, the city now has an economic development plan soon on the horizon. We're promoting business opportunities across the city with a particular focus on East Gainesville. We're building on the momentum of the past year to improve and strengthen the economic health and vitality of our historic and irreplaceable downtown. Last year, the City Commission advanced investment in downtown by approving the expansion of the Knott Climbing Gym, which will be right down here, and extending the agreement to develop Lot 10. We also provided business improvement grants to several downtown businesses and supported robust event programming to bring more patrons downtown. As in all these things, the key to success is collaboration. Downtown projects have consistently brought out community partners and volunteers who make lasting contributions, as noted by District 2 Commissioner Ed Book.
I always like to ask myself, how can we do more? How can we engage the community and work together in a better, more cooperative and civil way? That's how the downtown refresh became a reality just about a year ago. We collaborated with community partners and about 100 volunteers, joined together to spend a day planning, pressure washing sidewalks, restriping parking, picking up trash, adding mulch, removing graffiti in our historic downtown, and cleaning nearby creeks and parks. It made everyone realize we can do things as a team that make our downtown nicer. We share the same goals, even if the way we think are best to get there may differ. When it comes to improving downtown, we also listen to neighbors who are concerned about preserving trees. While working to provide sidewalk accessibility for all users, we primarily use tree mitigation funds to reconfigure parking along Southeast 1st Avenue and replant trees on Southeast 1st Street. Shumard oaks were replaced with the more appropriate bluff oaks. This aligns with our commitment to nature while making downtown an easier, safer place to walk and drive and spur economic development. And speaking of city safety, that relates to something called crime prevention through environmental design, an acronym called CPTED. It's the science of making the built environment safer through lighting, landscaping, construction, and other engineering. This way you create spaces, roads, neighborhoods, and communities where people want to be. Bo Diddley Plaza is a perfect example. It's continually scheduled with events that bring people downtown to gather and experience music, the arts, athletics, and seasonal celebrations. When we create those opportunities, we make our city better, safer, more vibrant, and I'm glad to play a small part in that.
Thank you, Commissioner Book. Thank you for emphasizing safety in public spaces and applying those principles to move our community forward. Listen, as you've heard from my fellow commissioners and me, we all recognize that progress is a community effort. And just like Phil Connors waking up to "I Got You, Babe" in Punxsutawney, I think we all understand that each day in this place we share, despite its imperfections, quirks, and occasional annoyances, is an extraordinary gift in the end. That doesn't mean Gainesville is perfect, quite the opposite. It means we each carry within us the power to keep making it better, to catch the kid falling from the tree, to fix the flat tire, to learn to play the piano, to order too many desserts. Those are all movie references from Groundhog Day for those of you who are a little younger than me. My point is that every single day, we get the chance to be here and to create positive change. And that's a gift in itself. So I close with this. When you wake up each morning, I'm going to ask you to do these three things for yourself and for our community. Recognize what is truly important. Discover where you can make a difference. And never give up. Thank you for allowing me to share this time with you. May God bless you and each of our neighbors, and may God bless the City of Gainesville.